I told you about how the hospital wound down. DGS took it over. We tried to adapt it to office space. We had some success, but it was very difficult. Buildings were not easily adapted, and it kind of wound down from there. And we actually were looking for a buyer for the site. And it's not just a case of putting it a for sale sign in the front and somebody that has a set amount of money comes and buys it. We owe it to the local citizens, the municipalities, that we sell it to somebody that can prove they have the wherewithal to do all the things that need to be done. Remediation of soil that might be contaminated, remediation of contaminants in the buildings. And we found what we felt was the perfect buyer, and they were very enthusiastic about it at Dauphin County Redevelopment Authority. We negotiated a bill of sale with them, and then as time went on, they got grants to do testing and so forth, and they started looking at the costs involved, I think is what happened, and that sale was allowed to expire. And we did have some meetings about what to do next, if we should try to sell it again. But at the same time, we were looking for a site for a consolidated laboratory facility. And this had been in discussion since the late 90s. And there were a lot of sticking points, one of which was a site. To get 5 agencies to agree on a site, we were not having success with that. But when this became available, they agreed that this was going to be the site of this facility. And that's what we're planning now. It's in design, okay? That period's coming to a close. We will do some demolition. I had a question about that. A lot of these buildings will have to go to make room for this thing. And we are planning on saving 4 of the buildings. You already went through one of them, the cottage in the front of campus. This building, unfortunately, will have to go. We're going to save the admin building, the other cottage, the one that's mirrored to the one you were through, and also the chapel. The chapel's going to be our destination on this next stretch. We're going to go down over here. On your handout, on the 3rd row on the right-hand side, you'll see a building that doesn't exist anymore. So if any of you are pulling your hair out trying to figure out where this building was, it's gone, okay? So that is a recurring theme at this property. That building was used for 80 years. It became obsolete. They replaced it with 2 new buildings, and that building was demolished. And so was the one exactly like it at the other end of the tunnel, okay? So that building that's in the picture would have stood right over here, just past those fir trees, okay? What's left, with the building gone, they built a pavilion over the entrance to the tunnel. So that's the oldest tunnel on site. It was built the same time as those branch buildings, that's what they were called. And that was 1884. We're going to go halfway through that tunnel, and then we're going to make a left, and we're going to emerge in the chapel. The chapel is also a building that we're saving and is going to be part of the lab project. The agencies involved in this lab are environmental protection, conservation, natural resources, agriculture, health, and then Pennsylvania State Police. It'll be 2 buildings. The police will have their own building because they have a different level of security requirements. And then in the large building will be the other 4 agencies. That project will probably be completed in the first quarter of 2029. So someone had a question here before you all came out. What about saving, preserving architectural features? We are very interested in doing that. We had a walkthrough a couple months ago with historic preservation folks, including Historic Harrisburg Association, and we identified things that we felt should live on after the state hospital. And the reason I wanted to tell you about that here is because you can see the copper cupola on the roof. That's something that might be interested in saving. You can see brownstone lentils, ironwork. A lot of people would be interested in that. So I don't know exactly how it's going to work. That's other people handling that. But there are many scenarios being discussed. Turning it over to the demolition contractor to get rid of it, sell it that way. There's many ways it could be done. I just don't know how that's going to happen yet. But we are interested in preserving some of this as well. Most of the brick up here comes from, there was a brick plant over where you now have Elmerton and Cameron. In the old days, Elmerton didn't run the whole length. It was actually Crooked Hill that connected there. And there was a brick factory there. and they actually got the clay out of the ground behind the plant. They opened up this enormous hole, which then for 10 years was used as the city landfill. So there's buildings at the end of Elmerton, the DEA, the DEP, and there's a warehouse sitting on the old landfill. But I don't even know why I brought that up, but I think that's interesting, right? So, so I'll take some questions if we have any.
Going into the tunnel. Yeah, lots of asbestos. You'll be safe. I grew up in a house with asbestos, so no problem. Ooh. Ooh. Back to the tunnel, folks. Oh, look at that stuff hanging down. I wonder where the bats are. Uh-oh, it's getting dark. I'm not going to be able to have to cut that section out of the thing. Ouch! What bit me? Whoa. Oh, I could have brought my flashlight. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Do I need to run or? Here we are. We're, I think the chapel is above us. Hey, look, the Christmas stock. They're all ready for Christmas there. Now where? Where's that for them? Now what? Where are we going? What's this place?
This is the last chance I'm going to get to talk to you. I want to thank you again for coming out and supporting Historic Harrisburg. I'm going to talk a little bit about what you see where we're standing. Then we're going to go to the admin building. That's going to be our final stop. I'll tell you the highlight of that building is definitely the third floor. That was the superintendent's apartment. That building was built in 1893-94. The pocket doors, you can move them with a pinky. They have folding pocket doors, which are very unusual. They work perfectly 130 years later. It's really a remarkable building. That building was built to replace the center part of the original state hospital building. So it would have had admissions, you would have been assigned your ward, things like that. You'll see a couple safes in there. They probably kept personal effects in there, medicine, stuff like that, stuff you would expect. So enjoy that. There's, I think there's 13 fireplaces. It's a neat building. But I want to talk a little bit about what we're looking at right now. Someone had asked me earlier if there was a hospital at the Harrisburg State Hospital. The answer is yes. It's right behind you. That building has operating rooms and patient rooms. If you got sick or broke your arm or whatever, you'd go there. Now they had a building for that before that building also. That kind of moved around. In fact, one of the places that the infirmary was in the solarium, the sun parlor. So that building there, I get a lot of questions about that because it is interesting, right? So originally that was like a rotunda like you'd see in the Capitol building or something like that. It was one big room all the way up to a glass dome, a leaded glass dome, right? Well, glass domes are a maintenance nightmare in 2024. I can't imagine what that was like, 115 years ago. So eventually the glass dome got replaced by the metal dome, and they needed space. They built a frame building inside that building. There's actually a 3-story building inside of there. Where you see the big openings where you have the 2 sets of windows, top and bottom, first and second floor, that was one big window originally. So you can see that went from being this fabulous, very interesting structure to, so that's what's in there now, in addition to some other mold and some other things. If you look out in yonder to the south, you'll see what we call the laundry building. So that tower has a 100,000 gallon water tank. There were 2,000-foot wells down by the green belt, and there's a patio down there some of you probably seen. That was actually the bottom of the pump house. That water was pumped from the well into that tank, and then it fed the facility by gravity. So also in that building was the original power plant. All this facility was heated by a centralized steam plant. The first one was in that building. They upgraded in the 30s to the current power plant, which we just decommissioned 2 years ago. But that's how we heated the entire campus, by one heat source. Now also in the laundry building for a brief time was a dynamo. They were actually making electricity up here. Someone had asked me about that. I think probably what happened there was the electric from the utility became cheap enough that it didn't really make any sense to do it yourself. And most recently, that was a laundry operation, and they actually got laundry from other facilities. So South Mountain, places like that would ship it up here. They would wash and sanitize it, fold it up, and ship it back. So, and we talked about peonage and working on the farm. Patients did work in the laundry at one point. There is a dormitory in there. Personally, I think that would be a very scary place to be if you're you're having issues, and now you're in this strange place and you're in a building with all these weird sounds and smells. I can't even imagine what that must have been like.
They also did lawn care. They did all the lawn care. They cut the grass.
Yeah.
They sewed clothing.
A clothes tree.
Yeah, but they actually sewed.
Yeah.
At one point, they sewed all the clothing. And when I first started here,
They still had the equipment when I got
in
here.
the geriatrics, everybody had the same
Sewing
dresses.
equipment, yeah, you're right.
That was, because they got bolts of extra fabric.
Any other questions?
Yeah. No, it was really white.
Can you name all the other buildings?
Can I name them all? Probably. We'd be here for a while. That one there currently is named Sloth Hour. That's named after a nurse. She was a nurse here for many, many decades, and when she retired, how nice is that? They named the building after her.
Oh.
But so that's.
I guess it was more not the names are called, but like all the structures that were here.
Well, a lot of them had many uses over the years. If you get on that HarrisburgStateHospital.com website, you can learn all about that. Phil has a very good synopsis of each building.
Look at the ironwork on here. Wow. Beautiful work. Broke the windows already. Huh, isn't that a shame? People break the damn windows. Huh, that's different. Let's go over here. Oh, look at the fireplace. That is so cool. Wow. Wow. Oh, who broke that? I'd like to smack the person that broke that mirror. Something so beautiful as that. That is gorgeous. They just don't make stuff like that anymore.
Yeah, it is. I just wish they had like label what this was on the movie. This week, that's what it's called.
This is cool.
Is this the kitchen? So this is the dining room.
Huh, kitchen. Built-in cabinets. Oh, look at that deck. That's in good shape. Mine's still out the door.
Wow.
Look at all these shelves.
Oh. Wine rack, boys.
Wow.
I can't see. Looks like a bedroom. Big walk-in closets. Hey, look at that bathroom.
Wow. Look at that tub.
Wow.
Yeah. So this. Look. Look. Yeah. The barn. Look at the barn. Remember talking always about how we just
Wow. Huge.
Strange how like every room connects.
More fireplaces. This place had so many fireplaces. They're cool. I like these fireplaces.
I know. This is so beautiful.
Let's take a look at this bathroom. Huh. This is a closet. Wow, if I had this much room in my house. Wow. First floor. Oh look, there's like patterns on the first floor. Somebody's office. And another fireplace in the hallway. I gotta remember to put a fireplace in my hallway.
Yeah. Just a door back there.
Yeah. Wow, that's weird. This was in somebody's office that they made into. Well, that was weird. I'm gonna get this other room. I think this has curved mirrors in it too. Curved glass. Yeah. Check that out. Curved glass. They don't even make stuff like that anymore.